Hello, my name is Jaron Schmidt, and I work on the partnership team here at Livefront. Today, we'll be talking about product-led growth and some of the key principles to leverage it within your organization. To start, I'd like to define exactly what is product-led growth. To me, product-led growth is a strategy that leverages a product to drive user acquisition, user activation, and user retention. These are common metrics in any growth strategy. However, the difference is that we're leveraging the product itself to drive these forward. You see, in a traditional growth model, what you'll often find is these three metrics, but they're divided across different functions within an organization. Marketing is responsible for acquiring users, sales is responsible for converting those users into paying customers, and customer success is responsible for retaining those customers and continued engagement. In a product-led growth model, we have these exact same metrics. However, you can see that the product itself is responsible for each of them. And when you bring that all together, what you ultimately get is a business strategy that not only drives these metrics forward, but focuses on delivering value before a purchasing decision has been made. A great example of this outside of software and technology would be Warby Parker. Warby Parker is an eyeglasses manufacturer that allows you to select your glasses, try them on, decide which one fits you best or delivers you the most value, and then from there you make your purchasing decision after you receive that value. This is a key difference from what you would see in other growth models. There are plenty of tools, techniques, or methods to going after product-led growth. I've broken them down into 4 key components that I think are instrumental in any strategy. The first is referrals or virality. The second, onboarding. Third, data and analytics. And fourth, customer delight. Let's dig into each of these individually. For referrals or virality, the goal here is to drive organic growth, where we look to have more than one individual in order to deliver the value of the product. Collaboration software is a great example of this. If the goal is to collaborate with someone, you need more than one individual, and so you give them the opportunity to invite others. Ideally, they receive value and they invite others as well, ultimately creating a viral loop and driving organic growth. Now, let's talk about onboarding. We want to allow users to access the product without a manual or human intervention. You would think of this as self-service onboarding. If we capitalize on user growth and we have new users coming to the platform, we want to make sure that they can access it seamlessly without others being involved. Another thing that we want to think about is, how are we going to deliver value before a purchasing decision? There are a couple techniques that you can use here. One would be a free trial. You can also look at freemium. And last but certainly not least, indirect revenue sources, such as advertising or reselling data. Now let's talk about data and analytics, where we want to capture user behavior data and conversion rates to infer user value. Remember, the product is now responsible for your acquisition, activation, and retention. We need to understand exactly what our users interacting with and whether or not they're receiving value. Having tools in your product that track this data becomes extremely important for not only understanding that value proposition, but for optimizing it over time. Last is customer delight. And I know every product we want to delight our users, but in this case, we want to ensure that the experience is seamless and clearly addresses a user pain point. Everything that we're going after for growth requires that the product delivers a delightful experience because we're relying on our users to drive that organic growth. In summary, we have 4 key components: referrals or virality, onboarding, data and analytics, and customer delight. As you'd expect, each of these align with the key metrics that we talked about in our growth strategy: acquisition, activation, and retention. The last item that I want to point out is to keep it simple and iterate. One of the biggest mistakes I see when it comes to product-led growth strategies is trying to do it all at once. You don't need to. You can start with just one of these elements, such as acquisition. Just know that you can always build upon that over time, and you can avoid questions that come up from other functions, such as, how are we going to integrate this with our CRM? What about e-commerce? At the end of the day, you'll want to embark upon all of those. However, it's best to just get started. Remember, a no decision is a decision. I really appreciate you taking the time to learn more about product-led growth, and I wish you the best of luck on your journey.